At 45, Jessica Mulroney has decided it's finally time to speak. After years of staying silent, after years of watching the headlines, after years of seeing her closest friends torn apart by the glare of the world, she is ready to reveal the truth. And not just any truth, the kind of truth that makes you pause, lean forward, and ask yourself, did I really know Meghan Markle at all? Did anyone? Think about it. Meghan Markle married Prince Harry, the golden boy of the royal family. A prince whose every move is dissected by the press, whose every smile is catalogued by the tabloids, and whose every heartbreak is turned into a public spectacle. She became a duchess overnight, stepping into a world that, for most people, is untouchable, untouchably perfect, and untouchably scrutinized. But behind the gowns, the royal wave, the perfectly staged photographs, what was really happening? Jessica Mulroney knows. And what she knows is not what the public has been told. Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for updates. The first question that hits you is the same one that hit Jessica years ago. Did Meghan truly fall in love with Harry? Or was this marriage, as shocking as it sounds, fueled by something else entirely? Fame, influence, opportunity, money. We are not talking about the quiet, romantic love stories that movies try to sell you. This is real life, real ambitions, real friendships tested, stretched, and sometimes shattered under pressure. Jessica's relationship with Meghan was intimate, complex, and ultimately explosive. Friends at the top of the social ladder rarely stay unscathed when power enters the equation. And power, in Meghan Markle's life, was always close at hand. But Jessica didn't just watch from the sidelines. She was there. She saw the late-night calls, the whispered confessions, the strategic social media posts, the calculated smiles in public, masking what was said behind closed doors. She knew more than anyone, and that knowledge came with a heavy price. When the world thinks about Meghan Markle, they picture a poised, confident, radiant woman, marrying a prince and stepping into a fairy tale. But Jessica Mulroney's revelations, the ones she has held close for decades, paint a very different picture. One of ambition, of friendships manipulated, of choices calculated not for love, but for leverage. It's the kind of story that makes you gasp because it's so intimate, so close to the people you thought you knew, yet so far from what was visible to the public eye. You might ask, why now? Why at 45? Why risk everything by speaking out? The answer is simple. Some truths are too heavy to carry. Jessica waited, watched, and hoped that silence might protect her friends, and maybe even protect Meghan. But the world has a way of pressing its ears to the walls, and secrets rarely stay buried forever. Now, the timing is right. The context is right. And the revelations, the ones that could rewrite public perception, are about to come to light. Let's start with the friendship itself. Jessica and Meghan were close. Very close. We're talking about the kind of friendship where late-night calls aren't just a courtesy, they're a necessity. The kind where sharing secrets isn't optional. It's expected. They laughed together, traveled together, celebrated milestones together. And, perhaps most importantly, Jessica became someone Meghan trusted. That trust, it seems, was not without its consequences. As their friendship grew, so did the stakes. Meghan Markle was ascending, entering a world that few outsiders ever penetrate. Hollywood glamour, charity events, elite social circles, and eventually, the royal family itself. And while the world watched Meghan's rise as a fairy tale, Jessica saw the machinery behind it. The plans, the strategies, the careful navigation of public perception. It wasn't just about love, it was about positioning. And in every move Meghan made, Jessica was there, observing, advising, and sometimes questioning. Now, here's where it gets truly compelling. Jessica is not speaking out to tear anyone down. She is not speaking to fuel gossip. She is speaking because she has seen patterns, decisions, and choices that have gone unnoticed, and she believes the public deserves a fuller picture. We all know that Meghan Markle's life has been dissected relentlessly. Every outfit, every word, every glance. But what we haven't seen, what the cameras never caught, are the private conversations, the subtle manipulations, the ambitions hidden behind smiles. Jessica Mulroney is about to fill that gap. The revelations themselves are layered. Some are small, almost mundane, yet illuminating. a carefully timed phone call, a pointed social media post, an invitation extended or withheld. Others are dramatic, emotional, and deeply personal. Confidences betrayed, loyalties tested, friendships strained to the breaking point. The combination of these insights builds a picture that is as shocking as it is mesmerizing. And Jessica, who lived through it all, is now the guide to this story. A story that has remained largely hidden from the public for years. It is easy to forget, watching from the outside, that behind the headlines there are real people, real emotions, real consequences. Meghan Markle, Prince Harry, and Jessica Mulroney are not just characters in a media narrative. They are humans, navigating a world of intense scrutiny, ambition, and expectations. But what Jessica reveals forces us to question everything we thought we knew. The fairy tale is not what it seems. The friendships were more complicated than public appearances suggested. The motivations may have been more strategic than anyone realized. And here's where the tension rises. Jessica's disclosures are not just anecdotal. They carry weight because of her proximity, her access, and her credibility. When someone this close to Meghan speaks, the world listens, and the questions start pouring in. Was Meghan's marriage to Harry truly about love? Or was it, in part, a calculated step in a path toward influence and wealth? Did fame factor more heavily into her decisions than anyone imagined? And perhaps most importantly, what does this mean for those who believed in her, trusted her, or considered her a friend? Jessica's revelations also force us to confront a larger truth. In the world of celebrity and royalty, appearances are often deceiving. Public personas are crafted, carefully maintained, and sometimes weaponized. Social media amplifies perception, while private actions tell a very different story. Jessica Mulroney, having lived on both sides of that divide, offers a perspective few have, an insider's view into the intersections of power, friendship, and ambition. Yet, despite the dramatic tension, there's also an emotional core here. Jessica speaks not just with facts, but with feelings. The heartbreak of seeing a friendship fracture, the conflict of witnessing ambition override loyalty, the disillusionment of realizing that not everything is as it seems. Her story is compelling not only because of the revelations, but because of the emotional journey she shares. It is the human story behind the headlines, one of connection, disappointment, and ultimately, courage. And this leads us to the ultimate question that frames this entire expose. If someone you trusted fully turns out to be more calculating than you imagined, how do you reconcile that? Can you forgive ambition when it comes at the cost of friendship? Or is there a line, a boundary, beyond which loyalty is simply no longer possible? Jessica Mulroney's story grapples with these very questions, forcing us, as viewers, to confront our own assumptions about love, friendship, and the allure of fame. By the end of this hour, you will have heard things that will make you rethink everything you thought you knew about Meghan Markle. You will understand why Jessica Mulroney waited until 45 to speak. You will feel the tension, the drama, and the emotional weight of these revelations. And you will be left with questions that linger long after the video ends, about friendship, about loyalty, and about the price of ambition in a world that rewards visibility above all else. But here's the kicker. The most explosive details, the moments that will make your jaw drop, are yet to come. Jessica's story is layered, building slowly from subtle insights to undeniable truths. She will share, in her own words, what she observed, what she experienced, and what she believes the world needs to know. And when she does, it will force a reckoning, not just for Meghan Markle, but for everyone who has watched from the sidelines, thinking they understood the story all along. And just when you think you have a grasp on the narrative, just when the pieces seem to fit, the final twist will hit. Jessica's account is not linear. It's a tapestry of emotions, events, and revelations, each one more shocking than the last. It's a story about power and friendship, about loyalty and betrayal, about ambition and love, and it's about to be told in full. So hold on, because what Jessica Mulroney is about to reveal will change the way you look at Meghan Markle forever. It's more than a confession. It's a reckoning. And as you watch, you will feel the tension, the intrigue, and the drama, because this story is far from over. In fact, it's just beginning. But what came next would change everything, and no one saw it coming. She was Meghan's closest confidant, the friend who knew the side of her life the cameras never captured, the one Meghan trusted with secrets too delicate to share with anyone else. But what does it mean to be that close to someone who is, by nature and circumstance, a master of public perception? And what happens when that trust is tested in ways no friendship should ever have to endure? Jessica Mulroney and Meghan Markle met in the glittering world of celebrity circles long before the fairy tale wedding that would shock the world. They laughed together, shared career advice, celebrated milestones, and confided in each other late into the night. On the surface, it looked like an ordinary friendship between two ambitious women navigating fame, influence, and life's pressures. But for those who know the truth, the surface was only the beginning. Jessica was the kind of friend who didn't just nod politely at Meghan's stories. She listened, she advised, she offered perspectives no one else could. Their friendship was built on trust, but also on a shared understanding of how complicated and dangerous fame could be. Jessica knew the stakes. She knew the power dynamics. She understood the fine line between friendship and survival in a world where perception often outweighed reality. And that's exactly why her account now is so compelling. Because she was there when Meghan's moves began to hint at something more calculated. When subtle decisions, small gestures, and behind-the-scenes actions suggested ambition, strategy, and planning beyond what the public saw. Jessica noticed patterns, and over time, the patterns began to reveal a picture she could no longer ignore. Their friendship had layers. On one level, it was fun and glamorous. Brunches with the media's favorite photographers, cocktail parties where Hollywood glittered, trips to exotic locations that most people could only dream about. On another, it was strategic. Business advice, careful discussions about public image, guidance on navigating the pressures of being in the spotlight. And underneath it all, there was trust, fragile, precious, and increasingly complicated. Jessica Mulroney has spoken of those early days with Meghan with a mix of nostalgia and regret. She remembers the laughter, the excitement, the sense of adventure. But she also remembers the subtle shifts. The late-night calls that weren't always what they seemed, the offhand comments that carried more weight than anyone realized, the way Meghan could charm a room while simultaneously steering it toward her advantage. Jessica didn't just see the charm, she saw the strategy behind it. And as the years went by, that insight became both a gift and a burden. It's hard to describe what it's like to watch someone you care about climb to the heights of influence while making choices that challenge your moral compass. Jessica saw opportunities seized, decisions made, and friendships tested in ways that would leave anyone questioning loyalty and intention. She noticed that Meghan's relationships with certain people, including herself, were sometimes treated like chess pieces, each move carefully considered for maximum effect. And yet, despite the complexity and tension, Jessica remained close, because she cared, because she believed in the friendship, because she thought love and loyalty would eventually prevail. But friendships like these are fraught with contradictions. You want to trust, yet you observe. You want to celebrate, yet you analyze. You want to be there for the highs, yet you brace for the lows. Jessica Mulroney lived in that space. She knew Meghan's ambitions, her charm, her magnetism, and sometimes her ruthlessness. She witnessed moments that seemed innocent at first glance, but, on reflection, revealed the careful orchestration of public perception. Here's an example. Imagine a glamorous dinner in Toronto. Photographers capture Meghan laughing, radiant and carefree. Jessica is beside her, fully part of the scene. Yet behind closed doors, Jessica notices the subtle calculations. Which guests Meghan gravitates toward, which alliances she is quietly forming, the way she positions herself for maximum social advantage. It's almost imperceptible to anyone watching from the outside, but to Jessica, it was crystal clear. Every smile, every gesture, every word had layers of intent. Jessica tried to reconcile these observations with the person she knew and liked. Was Meghan simply ambitious in a normal way, or was there something more deliberate at play? At first, she gave her the benefit of the doubt. Everyone navigates social hierarchies. Everyone wants to succeed. But over time, the patterns became impossible to ignore. Choices made in private contradicted the warmth and intimacy she displayed publicly. Promises of loyalty sometimes faltered. Confidences were handled in ways that left Jessica questioning whether trust alone was enough to sustain the friendship. And yet, despite these tensions, the bond endured. Because there was genuine affection beneath it all, Jessica cared for Meghan. She wanted to support her. She wanted to celebrate her successes. But there is a line between support and complicity, and eventually, Jessica began to realize that line had been crossed more than once. She began to see that ambition, while not inherently bad, can sometimes blind even the closest friends to ethical and emotional consequences. And what came next would change everything, and no one saw it coming.